everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and I've got this wonderful, wacky panel. These guys on this side of me are wonderful. This guy underneath me is the wacky.
and they're side by. I don't know who's. They're all different
where they are on
exactly.
your panel. So, but the wacky one, Mr. Dan Earl from our Family History Guy,
yes,
is with us tonight. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Good to see you. We have Shelley Murphy, our family tree girl. Hey, Shelley. Oh, Shelley, you're muted. You're muted, hon. Shelley, you're muted. There you go.
Welcome from the Blue Ridge Mountains.
It's so beautiful there. And we also have Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hey, Laura.
Hi, everybody.
So good you're here. Well, we are on day 4 of Relative Race. And again, just an amazing episode and a really emotional episode. Yeah. We're at day 4. We're almost halfway through. I mean, it's kind of going really fast. So it seems like we just started with season 10 and we're so excited that it was season 10. I'm liking, I think we've talked about this before, I'm liking that they're showing a little bit more before they leave, because the previous seasons it was like, time to go, out the door, run, and they never really had anything more with their relatives. But as the seasons have gone on, they've given them more time with their relatives, and so they're
actually having breakfast
together. They're having breakfast. Oh, Team Black's having breakfast. I love that, you know, they have the prayer and they're sitting there and they're eating this wonderful breakfast, and then the cousins walk in, you know, the cousins that, you know, luckily we're not dating cousins.
But that was the one he went to school with.
That's the one he went,
remember?
That Jansen went to school with, and that would have been so embarrassing. Can you imagine? That would have
been hilarious.
I'm sure it has actually happened.
Oh, I'm sure it's
I don't think it'd be embarrassing because they didn't end up together.
Yeah, and they did it.
In third grade.
Yeah. So that was fun to see them. I thought that was really fun to start off the day. And Sean got more pictures of his family, because he's got that little book and they're adding pictures to it. So I think that's really sweet. So he got another picture of his father is what he got, but this one was as an adult, and he just looks so much like his dad.
He really does.
So much like his dad. Yeah. Team Green, I'm trying to remember, they got some pictures too. The cousin was giving him, they got the ladybugs from her wedding.
Did you catch the fun, which is so funny? I just enjoy watching him talking about the nephew, because that's who he met.
Yeah.
About the height.
Yeah.
The height was hilarious.
Yeah, height was hilarious. That'll be fun.
Hilarious. Yeah. And I thought I can relate to that. I'm just 5 foot, you know. And he said, "Oh, that's from," what did he say, on my dad's
side of the family.
It's so on my dad's side.
So they got the ladybugs before they left, which I thought was really sweet, and he was so touched, you know. And also another thing,
his sister.
Well, I was just gonna say, in the car when they left, that emotion as he's talking about how he just feels like God has afforded him all these wonderful things in his life. And, you know, it was just so emotional as the two of them were talking. And this is a trip that father and daughter, they're never, what a bonding trip. They're never going to forget this. So another comment that Scott made, I thought was really powerful, was that he was saying that he missed both family at home, and he's missing the family as he leaves them to go to the next. Yeah. He wants to stay longer with them. So
now they don't say anything that if he's married,
I think
daughter, but there's no mention of mom or anything yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It seems like I read that he is. I think he is, but I might be wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong, but it seems like I read that he is. Yeah, that the family's together. And then the photo that Jamie got, Red Team Jamie got. That his sister, because he met his sister last week, and she showed him a picture of her younger brother, and then he compared that picture to his brother that he went into foster care with, and they look like the same person. Twins. They look like the same person. And do you love how they're bonding, especially Red Team? They didn't know each other coming into.
No, they're
very close.
They are
Yeah.
so supportive of each other.
Yeah. That it's just been amazing. And that's not to say that Curtis and Sean aren't. They're supportive of each other too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you can get people that don't even know each other, and they can
But
that's
characteristics, the beards, about the same build, everything.
Yeah.
And they might be around the same age, but they're really from two different worlds.
They're from but they understand each other, and I think that's what it is. They understand each other. So it's just worked out, because I know that first day I was like, oh, this is gonna work out, aren't they?
But what a great example of how that works. And I mean, two people coming together that know nothing about each other, and they are bonding and on this quest, and the quest has got such a familiar tie, but the emotional side, like you mentioned earlier, and they're sharing that, and it's not another family member, type thing. It's now a buddy, my road partner.
Right, exactly. And the chicken's back.
And they got it because they watched the show season. Yes.
His sister loved Chuck and Chicken. And so they played Chuck and Chicken. I told you it needs to be in the family book.
No doubt it's going to be there now.
Right. No doubt it's going to be there now. But yeah, you have a family reunion, you got to play Chuck and Chicken. So that was great. That was so funny. And then they drew a beard on it.
Yes.
Hysterical. And he goes, look, recreated. Yes, Laura.
I just wanted to go back to Red Team and how close. I think part of it is you can have, like, I think of my family, you can have people that love you to death and are around you all the time, but don't really get the situation.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the magic of these two teams is even though their lives are totally different, they understand each other in ways the rest of the people they're friends with don't quite get.
Or they're, absolutely. I think you've got a point there.
And they both have had voids in their life.
Yes.
And they both had the questions. So they're probably more come together because of their feelings, their emotions, and what they went through also.
Exactly.
I'm just really enjoying this season.
Let's start with Team Black. They actually had to drive. They actually had to drive for 3 hours to go someplace. But as Dan was mentioning before the show, they got to drive by their business.
Yeah.
How funny is that? There we go. And I remember in season 6, JD and Jen drove by the exit to turn off the freeway to get to their house. So that was funny too. They were that close. But yeah, this is the first time that they have been out and away and didn't know who they were going to meet. So that was really funny. But you know what, before we do that, we really need to talk about the challenge first, don't we? We need to talk about the challenge. So the challenge, bring back the old, that's right. It was another fan voted. Anybody want to talk about and describe
I didn't vote for that one. I think that was really challenging. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it was very challenging. And they had a bucket on the head and you had to throw was it a water balloon?
It was, water balloon. It was fill it and
try to get to your partner to get X amount of water to go into a bottle. And it was challenging.
It was challenging.
That is not one of my favorites.
Well, they had to pull the slingshot with the water balloon.
Yeah.
Shoot it at the teammate who had to catch the water in the bucket or the handheld one. And then they had a beaker to fill up. And once they got halfway up, then they could change places. But it was
kudos to the camera people on Road.
That was some good camera work. You're right, Shelley.
It is. We're saying thank you to you guys, because we don't get to see you, but you guys are having fun recording all of that. And we're gonna bell when they complete it.
It took a while to get in the groove of it, to really figure out how to do it. I thought, Do
you think it's all live, or do you think they get like B-roll, like they stop them and say, okay, I missed some of that, so
I think
Maybe
they have
Throw
to
some more
'cause of the
balloons at
time.
her and let's watch her squirm.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if all that is in real time or not. That would be a good question that we can maybe, you know, when we get some teams on here, we will ask them if that's, you know, how they do that, unless that's spilling, you know, relative rate secrets or something. But you know what my most favorite part of the whole challenge was? You guys know what my most favorite part of that challenge was, the little cameo from Joe and Jerica, because that was so hard for them on season 4. It was
I just remember Joe laying down under the table.
Poor, you know, he just couldn't, and Jerica was sopping wet and he couldn't get those balloons into there. And I felt so bad, but I was like, oh, that's Joe and Jerica. So even if it wasn't a bad moment, you know, and it was this
That
nice
was season,
challenge.
what season
4.
were they?
Season 4. Yeah, that was season 4. Yeah, so he's like, Jerica, I just don't know what to do. And he lays underneath that table. I felt so bad for him. They just couldn't get in he couldn't get in the groove of getting those water balloons to her without like smacking her in the face. But even Hannah said they hurt when they hit. They hurt. I was wondering if they were going to have a better time with it because they're both kind of short and maybe you wouldn't have to get them. I mean, maybe, but it didn't help. It didn't help. The shortness didn't help at all. So, but it was fun. I think in the long run it was fun.
She just had this instinct to get away from something coming at your head, which is
wouldn't we all?
Yeah, which is like a perfectly normal function of the human brain to get out of the way of objects coming at your head.
She was
totally going away instead of going after it.
Yeah. So, well, they all go ahead, Dan. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just, and I wonder too if her height had something to do with that disadvantage, right? I mean, because it is about having to look up and see where the balloon is coming from, and then like getting you know down, and so if her dad wasn't launching the balloons high enough, that limits that amount of time that she has to do that.
Yeah.
Good thought.
Good thought. I think the hardest part of that was pouring the water from the bucket on the head and not just pouring it right out on the ground or on the table and getting it into that little beaker. And they couldn't help them. I mean, you'd think the team should have just grabbed it, gone, but you can't. They couldn't. The other team member couldn't grab it and hold it and show them where to pour it. They could tell them, but they couldn't help them physically. But anyway, I know kids would love that. I think kids would have
and if people want to watch it, they can go to the BYU TV app and look at season 4 and watch at Jerica and Joe and relive that.
Yeah, they had I think there were a lot of challenges in season 4 that were hard for Joe. The mountain biking, the football game. That was really funny.
They all were challenging.
They were great. Anyway, so I skipped right over that and started talking about the teams and who they met, and we were starting to talk about Team Black and how they had to drive. They actually had to drive
3 hours,
and he didn't know why he was going there. And every other day, he knew exactly who the relative was going to be every time. And so he gets there, and it's a paternal aunt. And
now he knew the one.
Well, he didn't know the one that came out, and he was like, for the first time, I don't recognize you. I don't know who you are. So she introduced herself as his father's sister. And she says, I've got somebody else for you to meet. And so they go in and he's like, what? How did I not put 2 and 2 together?
But that was interesting that he didn't know. Did he know they were sisters?
No.
I don't think know the one sister.
Yeah, he said he hadn't put 2 and 2 together, and he didn't even connect that the other woman in there was his aunt, and he had gone to school with her. She was 2 years, grades 2 years above him in school. Yeah. She's his aunt. So funny.
That's a probably because, just like I said, everybody they've met, they're related, they knew the names.
Yeah.
That must be a small town. I didn't go look it up, and Mary's not here tonight to say, hey,
we're missing Mary. We're missing Bernice. Bernice is not feeling well. And we're missing Melissa. She hasn't been able to join us for the last few weeks because she keeps having things that
Other meetings.
conflicting, yeah, that she has to get to, but she's coming back and she's watching the show because she loves it. But we miss our Gen friends that can't be with us. So yeah, Mary's supposed to be out there researching for us, right?
They better be missing us as well.
They better be missing us as well. Absolutely, absolutely. But there was also a sad story. Anybody want to talk about the sister that died?
That was very sad.
47.
It was, yeah.
47. She was born and had a brain.
She got
I don't want to say
high
issue,
fever.
but there was something with the brain.
Yeah, she got really sick and had a really high fever at 10 months old. And it
But
caused
she
brain
lived till
damage.
she was 47.
Can you imagine? And they
I
had
thought
said
that
she was
was
only going to live
amazing.
about 6 months. That's just
Mhm.
amazing to me. And then the other thing, but did you notice how much the one sister looked like his grandmother?
Mhm.
I was like, oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
it'd be her mother, but she just looked just
Right.
like her. But the sister died at 47, but her mother took care of her 24 hours a day, and they said she never went outside at night. She never went anywhere.
That broke my heart a little
I
bit.
know. And then when the sister died, she just was lost because she had done that for 47 years and then, kind of felt lost. And that might explain a little bit of how she said, I always knew that you were my grandson, but didn't, do anything about it. She was busy with this daughter of hers. And so that might explain a little bit of that too, is that she just
Oh, yeah.
had so much else going on. So anyway, I thought that was really fun. And as I got to the end, I think it was Jamie that said, we're wondering if you're ever going to send us anybody that we completely don't know, except for that one. Everybody else, every day, they've had at least one person that they knew. And so they were laughing about that. But they got to see a lot of family pictures and all those kind of things. And I still it blows my mind that you can live in a town your whole life and half the town be your family.
And it was almost like some of them might have been, they had the thoughts, but there wasn't conversation happening.
Yeah.
Like the grandma said, I knew you were. I knew it.
Yep.
But think of all the ones that they have met that they knew.
Yeah.
Some had no idea.
Some had no
the
idea.
Teacher kind of figured a little bit out, possibly.
Their story is so
it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say it's interesting, but I think it's more common than most people would
probably
think. I mean, especially for a lot of our ancestors where we do find misattributed parentage.
Yes.
We're probably seeing this in real time where there were people in the town that knew.
Yep.
And just didn't say anything, and everybody just kind of played along. And so we're sort of seeing that in a sense in real time on the show of what that would have been like. And had they ever found out, they would have been having these same sort of hopefully positive experiences, but not always positive experiences.
Yeah, I agree with you. We started to talk a little bit about Team Green. That was a fun relative for them to meet, a tall relative for them to meet.
Nephew, yeah.
He's probably 5'7".
Sister's son.
He's probably only 5'7".
Mary.
Is that what you're saying?
Is that true? Is that what his height really was?
I don't know, but like he was.
He was taller. At least 3 feet above him.
I wouldn't go
3 feet. That would put him like at 8 feet
I'm down
tall.
here. Everybody is 3 feet taller than me.
It's too funny. But yeah,
I made it to my husband's shoulder and he was like 6'1", 6'2". So again, it looks like a yardstick.
When you're down, it looks that's
looking up. Yeah.
But see, this is going to be an interesting story if they get to meet Mary. Mary's Scott's sister. And Scott was saying this is the first nephew because he was adopted, and I don't think there must not be any other children. Maybe he was the only child, and so therefore he doesn't have any nieces and nephews. But his name was Cody, right? Cody was saying that he wasn't raised by his mom, and he didn't even meet her till he was 13 years old.
Yeah, did any of y'all understand that better than I did?
I don't know. And he did say something about living with his dad was not good.
He was with his dad. And
he said his dad wasn't a good person.
Yes. And so I don't know if any more of that story is going to come out or not. Maybe Mary will, you know, if he gets to meet her. I have a feeling
We
he probably
might not
will.
hear it.
Oh, not our Mary, the sister.
No,
Mary.
the
Yeah,
Mary,
I'm
his
sure our
sister.
Mary already knows. Yeah.
She probably
Yeah, I
has
was
already
like, but
figured
should
it
she
out.
really out that if she,
Yeah.
if they, okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
She's
I
probably
don't-
working on the pedigree charts right now.
Exactly. She probably
that's
is.
why she's at the, that's why she's at the research library.
That's
That's
right, in
why
Salt
she,
Lake.
Right,
Yep.
yeah.
and she posted a picture. I'm here.
Yep, she's in Salt Lake. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I don't know if it's none of our business, you know, what was going on, but
Right.
you know, I think
Sure.
it seems like every season they have another backstory. They have a story where somebody else, you know, you're also the first biological family member I've ever met, or you know, there's something in it also for this other person, and it's just as powerful for them. And I think that's what was going on with Cody, because he said he didn't know really very much about his father's family or his mother's family, so he didn't have a lot to share. And I don't know how old he is. He said he met her when he was 13, so I don't know how old he is now. I don't know how many years he's been with his mom, but
Mhm.
seems like a very, very nice young man. So I'm glad they found each other. And Scott was mentioning that too, is, well, we will help each other through this journey. We will
Yes.
share with each other
Share.
and learn more with each other. So
Mhm.
I thought that was a really
But
sweet.
still a good reunion, a reconnection.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought so too, because he felt, and it kind of took Scott out of the, I'm the one searching, I'm the
Yeah.
one receiving role.
Yeah.
And he very quickly took on the more of the paternal, well, we'll figure it
Yes.
out together. It's going to be fine.
Exactly.
You know, it cast him in a different role,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
think was cool.
I think so too. I think so too. And then they went axe throwing.
I loved it.
That was fun. Hannah was doing great with those axes.
She loved it too.
She was,
Yeah.
she was getting in there. Yeah.
Yeah, if they have an axe throwing challenge, Green's going to win.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good thought. And then Cody was showing pictures of his mom. So Scott got to see a picture of his
And he
sister.
looks like her.
I know.
He favors his
Especially,
mom.
well, that was his sister. That was his sister. That was Mary's sister.
Oh,
And-
Mary.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Mary.
So she was, yeah. And so and Cody was kind of telling him about his mom's personality, that they kind of are alike a lot, you know, and so that they would get along, and how she would like to meet him. And so I thought, they're gonna probably be on the show. She'll probably be on the show. And
I hope so.
yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Let's see, we did black and we've done green.
Blue.
Oh my gosh, blue. Oh my gosh, was that so sweet?
And
So
they're questioning now every time they come up on a white or a black.
I know, because now they don't know.
Yeah, now they can't be like, is it safe to assume?
Well, they were, they still
No
asked
more.
the question.
Yeah, you can't
You
assume.
can't. You
Nope,
can't.
you can't assume. Nope. So I mean, that was so sweet. So we met Sean met two more cousins.
Yeah.
And yeah, two more cousins on his dad's side. Yes. And one of them was Bill. And Bill obviously has Down syndrome. What a sweet man. And he just pulled them all in. He pulled Curtis in. He just, you know,
Mhm.
Pulled them all in, family.
yeah, we're all family. I thought that was so sweet. He was just so into it. And I just love that. But I think, you know, when they went in and sat down and started to talk, and Sean started talking about his addiction and how, you know, he had blamed himself, and he thought his
Right.
addiction came from the loneliness, you know, his drinking came from that. But he did say he's been sober for what, two and a half years, something like
Over,
that.
a little
So-
over 2 years.
yeah, which is wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. So they were telling him, they were showing him pictures of the family and telling him that, you know, this family has addiction problems. So give yourself a little grace. It
Yeah.
runs in the family, you know. And he says, then I can stop blaming myself. And I thought, how healing.
I
What did
started
she
crying
say?
right with him.
Oh gosh. And what did she say? She said something really profound to him, and I wrote it down, and I probably won't be able to even read my own handwriting to be able to get to it.
But she did make a
She
comment.
said,
regarding-
she did. She said, you have to clean the wounds before you can
Yes.
heal. Yeah.
She seemed wise too.
Yes, didn't she? Very, very wise. Very
So
wise.
it seems like he's getting good people in his life through
Yeah.
this.
Yes. Yes, he's
Going
getting very
forward.
beautiful.
Absolutely.
And you could almost watch his face and see the healing starting to take place. You know, you could see it. You could see his whole countenance change. You could just, he was feeling that connection, and it's okay to be who I am. And, you know, yes, I've had problems, but I've got these people who can support me now, and that kind of thing. So I really do think that this was a big healing episode for him. It was really special. Yeah. And Bill was fabulous, and he reached over and grabbed his hand too, and just, you know, I thought it was really wonderful. So that was a great connection for him.
Yeah. You know, I'm of the belief that you receive when you're ready.
Yeah.
You don't get it until you're ready.
Until you're ready. That's
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, Shelley.
And he's receiving in it, and it's right on time. And
For him,
like
for him.
Yeah, for him.
Because sometimes if things come to you earlier, you're not ready for it, and you can just like, you don't learn. So
and you don't accept.
That's true.
He's receiving now.
Laura looks like she disagrees with that, or
yeah.
Okay,
I don't think people when they're ready.
I honestly think if Sean had received this 5 years ago, he would have been spared a lot of grief and self, you know, accusation and stuff. I think sometimes things just happen, and they just happen.
Which they could. They could.
It could be.
I mean, because it kind of puts it on someone. Oh, you had to suffer because you weren't ready.
Yeah.
And
it's not always the suffering. It's also being able to handle. So whatever he done, you know, he probably couldn't have handled it 5 years ago. He's only been sober 2 years, a little over 2 years. You know, he might not have been in the right mind. And again, I got a brother that just hit 29 years celebrating not having a drink. And he was so proud. He sent an email, and I said, I'm gonna fix him. I'm gonna put it on Facebook so all the cousins can congratulate him.
Great.
You know,
That's
but again,
wonderful. Yeah,
he called it out as a milestone.
Of course.
It is a milestone.
Of course. Yeah. Well, let's get to Team Red, because oh my gosh, you know, you see Alex, and you don't, you know, you just see him as this big tough guy, really, you know, motorcycle guy, and he walks up to this house, and I knew she had to be related to him. They were
coloring.
The coloring and everything, and she just says, "Hi, Alex, I'm your sister." And it was like, oh, tears, and she said I wasn't gonna cry, and he goes, "Yeah, you were." Of course you were gonna cry. Of course you were gonna cry, you know. But he got so many answers because he'd heard, you know, that I've done foster care, and you do get little bits and pieces of stories. Yeah. And you don't know what's real and what's not real. And the kids know a little bit, and they do start, like Alex was talking about, romanticizing the stories. And he'd heard that he may have an older sister from his maternal side. And turns out that he did. But what a sad story, though, for her too, to be this little girl, and because she knew him as a baby.
Right. And
didn't she show the the pictures?
Go ahead, Laura. Yeah, I guess because I don't know that much about it. I was surprised that foster care, because she would have been quite young as well, right? That the state or whoever would say, you're capable of raising one child, but not two. And it does happen. And it just,
I was going to say that is common.
That happens a lot. And it just depends on what the situation was. It might not have been an abuse situation. It might not have been drug and alcohol situation. It could have been a financial situation.
Financial capacity. It could even been the environment.
Yeah. So it does happen. It does happen. And so, but that would have been so hard, you know, and they talked about how that she would keep going and visiting on the weekends, and the state finally had to step in and say, okay, you've got it, because you can voluntarily give your child over to the state. Yeah. And so because of financial or whatever, you can go to them and say, I can't do this. Oh. And so I don't know if we'll get more of that story, especially if he gets to meet her. But that picture that she gave him was just beautiful. The picture of him, and he got, you know what, none of my kids except for one, because I got him when he was 7 weeks old. None of my other kids that we adopted through foster care have baby pictures when they were born. None of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't get them.
Yeah.
You don't get them. And so for him to have that is just a blessing in his life, that he has that picture.
Well, he can see that there I am, and look who's holding me.
Look who's holding me. Exactly. So that was very special to get that, because none of mine have that.
And
So,
didn't she, who made the comment, you know, from her going and had to stop, because didn't she tell him she didn't want to give you up?
yeah, she didn't want to give you up.
Yeah, she repeated that more than once.
And she kept saying she loves you. And I caught that. She
Yeah.
loves you, not
It
she
was
loved
present tense.
it was present tense. So and he said, I have no doubt.
He
So
can see it now.
he can see it now. Yeah. The story. And it's interesting because they've got such similar red team, they've got similar backgrounds. They both were put into foster care, you know, and so
Because they click, just
Oh,
like they're brothers.
yeah.
You know,
And they were
brothers
calling each
from
other
another
brother.
mother.
Yeah. And to watch them sit, it's one thing to watch the spouse or a friend or whatever watch, but to watch those two watch each other,
Yes.
the reveal and the stories,
Yeah.
they're just feeling it for each other
Well,
so
And
much.
didn't he even say, I'm glad you were here to share this with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Because he knows he understands. He knows he understands. So I'm hoping that Curtis gets to meet somebody next week.
I think Curtis would be
Got my
up
paper.
next.
Yeah,
You know,
he's got to
because
be up
it's
next.
location and stuff.
Right,
too.
right. The photos were really good too. I thought the photos were really good because
all four were good.
they
All were
really
good. Well,
And
all
Team-
five.
all five, because Team Blue got to do two of them
It
because
took
that was
two.
their that's what because they won the week before, but they were all really good. But I thought it was really funny how Team Blue got in the car and went, wait a second, there's a road right in front of us. And it was pretty with the little barn and all that. And she's going, what are you doing? What are you doing? So his cousin was, you know, well, why'd you get out of the car? You're supposed to be hurrying up. So
Right.
I think they're all really good about capturing things. Team Black had the guy walking the dog on the country road, and then
That one was excellent.
and then Team Green went to a cemetery again. It was a cemetery road with the flag. So that one was really good.
End of the road.
The
what'd you say to Dan?
He's at the end of the road.
The end of the road.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. If they could have captioned
It's
it
not
would have
the
won.
Dan we're talking about.
You're right. If they could have captioned it like that, everybody would have voted for that. That would have been so funny. And then Team Reds was really, where did Laura go? Team Reds.
I'm getting a power cord.
Okay. We're all friends here, right? Do what we need to do to keep on going. So I really like Team Blacks too. The black and white with the like the concrete jungle road is what they
The highway roads.
So they're all really taking their time. They've got that 30 minutes off the clock to do that. So they're really trying because they know it's going to affect the results. So
yeah.
And speaking of which, the results, you know, I'm all teary-eyed.
I'm okay with the results. I'm okay.
Oh no, they can't. I'm just saying.
Nobody's leaving yet. No.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is I'm all into what's going on, and then they show that office building, and I go, oh. So because I know somebody's
the whole mood changes when they come up on the screen. When they see our Dan, the other Dan.
And when they see the other Dan,
the mood changes. You see it.
You see it. You absolutely, and you can feel it. So, but he's so good about talking to them about their day and, you know, hosting the show. He's just so good. He's so talented with that. Yeah, he's so good. And of course, again, they are loving and supporting each other. And you know, I think, and I guess people watching will tell me if I'm wrong, I think the first time that all the teams started wearing all the bands was in season 6, and now they all are again. You don't see a season. I think all before Blue team only wore blue. But season 6, they began sharing, and everybody was wearing the different color bracelets.
Mine are right here.
I believe that started during season 6, and so that just helps them bond as well.
Yeah.
It helps them, to be part of
Because
each
besides the shirts, and isn't it funny when they're meeting a relative that somebody's going to have the team color on?
I love
I think
that.
that's cute.
I
Yeah.
think that's cute too.
Yeah.
I think that's cute too. So, they go through and they share, and they're so proud, to show who they've met, and they're so excited to show everybody, and they're all so happy for each other. And it was another great meeting of the teams and the support that they're giving each other. So then the results came out, and there was only 60 seconds difference between 60 seconds, guys. 60 seconds is, hey, do you know where this place is? You know what I mean? Because Team Blue
Could have been anything.
Well,
Because there's so much we don't see.
We
too.
don't see it. It could have been, anything that was at 60 seconds, but that is short, 60 seconds. But Team Red got it. So they came in first, and then Team Black. And then, I was so scared for Team Green. I thought they were going to get another strike, but they didn't.
Yeah, see, I won't get nervous till somebody's got two.
And it'll have to happen. Somebody on day 5 will get that second strike, because now everybody, Team Blue came in last, so they got their strike. But that's not all, because down is, but then we got the photo challenge, and the Team Black's photo with the man walking the dog. That was gorgeous.
It was
such a beautiful photo, such a beautiful photo. So the fans.
Now I wonder, because Norm, I wonder if that guy that they asked, could they take the picture, if then relative race had to run after him and said, could you sign this model?
Probably. But
we are using it for commercial purposes.
You couldn't really see his face, it was kind of, and that's probably on purpose too. Probably on purpose too, that you couldn't see his face. So
perfect picture.
It makes it dog.
That was they all were good. Yeah. So that changed the results again and flipped Black and Red. So Black came in first, and so they get
good for them.
They get they said they get a challenge benefit on day 5.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see if that plays out for them and if it helps. Sometimes those challenge benefits don't help. Sometimes none of the benefits end up really helping. And so, but they
don't help enough.
Or they don't. There you go, Laura. They don't help enough. But have you noticed they haven't penalized? They haven't had, have they? They haven't had any of the teams penalize any of the other teams this season.
I think they figured out last season there was going to be
people don't like it. Yeah, and people don't like it. Yeah, people don't like it because it feels like they're doing it to people. So it'll be interesting to see if they throw one of those in there. So again, another great day. I'm glad that all the teams are here, because there have been times when teams go home really, really early. So I'm glad that they're all still here, because I'm really interested in all their stories. I don't want anybody to leave, because I want to get to the bottom of it.
I want to hear it all, and I want to see the reuniting.
Yeah, me too. I want to hear what's going on with each of these and what happened, and hear, the biological parent stories if we can, and the sister stories, and the, and see all that reunion. You know what I'd love to see at the very end? At the very end, I would love to see Jamie on Team Red with all of those siblings.
All of his siblings.
Every one of his siblings.
And Mama.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that if he gets to meet her, they'll all be there. So he's reunited with all of them. I think that would, and they're reunited with each other. I think that would be wonderful. Not that I'm saying I want them to win, because of, I would like to see that at some point on the show, because I really don't have a favorite team. I always want them all to go, but I just think that would just be an amazing moment to see that.
So do you think we'll have a new competition next week or an old one?
I don't know how many they did. Anybody catch if they said
they said they were going to do 3
top 3, maybe
Right.
top 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean that would be, this is 2 in a row, so probably they'll wait maybe.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, they said 3 that were voted highly. I wonder if they would be diabolical and say, okay, now we're going to choose the least favorite one.
Yeah, we're getting the flippers back on.
Exactly. Or do you remember that one that they
The
were
water,
doing?
the rocks in the water. Do you remember what
Yes.
season was that?
I
They
don't
just kept
remember.
falling.
And do you remember the one that they were in the gyms and they were sitting on that little cart and they kept slamming into the wall? I thought they were going to
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Deshay was not a fan.
No, I thought they
No.
were going to kill her on that one because she kept hitting so hard. So,
and the one where the roller coaster, remember she had the height.
oh yeah, that was
yeah.
last season. Yeah, that was tough too. Yeah, that was.
So they're
really
hard,
tough.
but you know, it's entertaining for us and it's a challenge for them. And again, it's about
It's
the
entertaining
family
for us to watch
connection.
people freak out.
Watch people
What was
freak
that?
out. She says
It's entertaining for us to watch people in abject misery.
But you know,
And again, we've got all this competition, but remember, there's competition in this whole show.
Mhm.
As other Dan says, it's about reconnecting.
Exactly.
There's $50,000.
And it's just a little comic relief because a lot of these things, a lot of the challenges are really funny. I love the ones when they have to do pantomime, when they have to dress up. I'm kind of hoping that
I like the dressing up ones. Yeah.
I'm hoping that one like that is going to be.
I like the ones when they had the pictures of people in history and they're trying, remember way back
That's
to
the one
season one? That
And they-
was probably my favorite because
That
it's
was
like,
good.
oh, you feel so dumb. Look at
Because
that. Is that George? You know, or
Too funny.
whoever it is.
Well, that quote, the quote that Dan, the other Dan, gave last night was, he said, all roads every day lead to new family. That's what he said. Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was very, very nice. So anyway, we're at day 4 and
it's good. It's going on good.
It's a good season. It's a good season. You know, I think we've got
I'm bad. I watch each of them twice.
Oh, I do too. I live tweet with one. I live tweet with one, and then I have to go back and make sure I didn't miss anything so that
I have to get the tweets this time because I've been watching this show.
Yeah. So it's really fun. So if any of you out there are, watch this and are on Twitter, come live tweet with us on Sunday nights. It's really fun. It's a really fun thing to do. So and Joe Henline is usually on there too, tweeting with us. So it's really fun. Sometimes some of the teams get on, but this season none of the team members are tweeting, but we really have a really good time. So I'd like to invite anybody out that's on Twitter or just get on Twitter just for Relative Race and hashtag Relative Race and come talk with us live on Sunday nights. But thanks everybody for coming and talking about day 4. It's a really, really good season. We do have questions for the teams, like Shelley's question about, do the cameras, or was that Laura? Did they say it was Laura?
Do they keep rolling?
Come tell us, answer us, put it in the comments, read it in the watch us on the Fans of Relative Race page or the Relative Race live page, and then answer our questions. We would love it if you would do that. So
that would be fab.
It would be fab, wouldn't it? So come on.
Okay, what era did that come from?
That was cute. I loved that. She's a writer. She can do those kind of things.
Yes.
It sounds okay coming from Laura. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. And thanks, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you next time for day 5 of Relative Race, season 10.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.